This is the Excellent Reception Podcast.
Hey, welcome back. I'm your host, lil'dave, and now it's time for another episode of Excellent Reception, the podcast where we talk about timeless music and why it's so amazing. We're back with another episode of our one-off series. Instead of taking a deep dive into a large topic, we're going to focus on a particular artist and a specific song. But don't worry, look out, our full episodes are on the way. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and wherever else podcasts are available. Please take the time to leave a review. These help push up our rankings in the podcast charts so more people can discover Excellent Reception. On this episode, we're going to talk about the classic song from Sun Palace called Rude Movements.
Excellent Reception.
One of the best songs I've ever heard in my entire life is an instrumental slice of cosmic disco called Rude Movements from a mysterious band of British musicians known as Sun Palace. Whenever I hear it, I have to stop what I'm doing and just soak in every moment. If I close my eyes while I'm listening, my mind gets filled with neon-lit visions of traveling through the dark roads of a retro-futuristic cityscape. Rude Movements is night music. There's something truly special about this song that has made it a prize find for crate diggers and the secret weapon of DJs around the world for decades. It was said that Rude Movements was first introduced to the dance music world at The Loft, the legendary New York party and residency of renowned DJ and musical connoisseur David Mancuso. The enchanting effect that this song would have on dancers in the wee hours of the night was undeniable. This influenced other DJs of the 80s musical elite, from Larry Levan at the Paradise Garage to Frankie Knuckles at the Warehouse in Chicago, to add Rude Movements to their collections. From there, this tune has continued to hypnotize party people across the globe for over 30 years, and it still sounds fresh. When the musicians behind Sun Palace set out to record their soon-to-be anthem, they had no intentions of making a club classic. They were really just a group of musicians who wanted to have a jam session using some brand new equipment. See, back in 1981, musicians Mike Collins and Keith O'Connell got together in London and started recording constantly under the name Rude Note. One of the demos they recorded seemed to have a lot of potential, so they invested time and £40,000 into developing the song. They signed with a record label known as Passion Records, who changed the group's name to Sun Palace, and released the finished song on a 12-inch record under the name Winning. This version of the song was chosen by the label and didn't fully represent the true vision of the artist. But on the B-side of the record was a stripped-down version of the song titled Rude Movements. This was the version that we now all know and love. The first thing you'll notice when you hear Rude Movements is that it's very minimal, but it starts to feel larger as the instrumentation gets more and more complex. The bass of the track is a repetitive rhythm from a Roland CR78, which is the first programmable drum machine. In comes some light chords played on a Fender Rhodes, which are complemented by some synthesized strings. The rhythm is further accentuated by the silky strumming of Mike Collins' guitar. The song is basically centered around the interplay between these four instruments. All of it was mixed perfectly by engineer Pete Walsh of Utopian Studio. who used his skills to add additional texture and bring out the highest quality sound by using a Neve mixing console. The real magic in Rude Movements happens when these two musicians begin to leave the main melody and start exploring deeper into the musical universe through improvisation. Only a few minutes into the song, there is a long breakdown where Keith O'Connell lets loose on the keyboards before the song starts to take off into the stratosphere. From this point on, there's no turning back. In a lot of ways, this is less of a dance song and more of a space-age free jazz piece that's only restraint is the drum loop that it rides on. Sun Palace unearthed other demos of Rude Movements, as well as some unreleased songs, to be put out with the help of BBE Records on an album called Raw Movements/Rude Movements. But let's take a moment to listen to the version we know best. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here is Sun Palace with Rude Movements.
Excellent reception. This is the Excellent Reception Podcast.
So yeah, thank you once again for tuning in to Excellent Reception. If you love what we're doing here, please spread the word to other music lovers you know. Make sure you check us out at excellentreception.com. And if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the podcast so you can be the first to hear new episodes. Also, you can listen to my broadcast radio show, Eavesdrop Radio, in Philadelphia every Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. on WKDU 91.7 FM or streaming live online at wkdu.org. So until next time, this is your host, lil'dave, signing off for Excellent Reception. We're always coming in loud and clear with the sounds you need to hear.
Excellent Reception.